Alright, so gotta reposition the background a little bit there. Guys, it has been a while since I've been live. A little bit of a mess up with my camera. I use the Logitech Brio as my webcam for these streams. It shoots in 4K, but for some reason, every time I try to shoot in 4K on the computer to stream to you guys, it just keeps crashing on me. So you guys are watching this right now in 720p. I believe the stream should be all the way up to 1080p if you guys want to watch it in 1080p. But as you guys can see by the title, so many new drones. We've got a lot of new drones to talk about, and I'm going to try to condense it into about 30 minutes. This is a pretty late stream. I haven't streamed in a while. I figured I'd jump on Wednesday night, I guess, right? Tonight's Wednesday night. I'm totally losing track just because it's summer. So Wednesday night, I usually do these on Sundays, but I haven't streamed for the past couple of weekends just because I've been doing some traveling, heading north a lot, seeing my girlfriend in Connecticut. If you guys didn't see the last video I posted, definitely go and check that out. It's probably one of the best videos I've ever posted. It's the best edit that I've done, in my opinion. Some of the best footage. I got to fly off of a boat. That was very challenging. Everyone's saying all clear. Okay, awesome. Yeah, so I totally didn't even check to make sure that the stream was alright before I even started. So anyway, we've got drones that we're going to talk about today, of course. Let's see, we've got 3 different drones that I want to talk about, and at the end we'll kind of talk about DJI because they're silent for now. First up, we're going to talk about the Autel Evo. Next, we're going to talk about the Parrot Anafi, and then finally, we're going to talk about the Yuneec Typhoon H Pro, which is probably the drone I know the least about, just because I really don't pay too much attention to Yuneec. But again, we'll save that for the end. So first up, Autel Evo, we got a release date, June 25th, I believe, is what it is. So we should be expecting that in about 2 weeks. Now, if you guys don't remember, I made my rant video on the Evo, which I'm going to go and check how that's doing right now. I was thoroughly upset at Autel. The reason I was really upset at them is just because I really thought that they were going to be able to compete with DJI, and they really missed the mark, and that was the title of my video. They missed the mark not only because they were late to coming out with their drone, but also just because of the lack of communication from them. If you guys heard my personal experience, when I tried to reach out to them, I got like pretty much curved. They totally didn't respond to me 3 times in a row, and also they just really weren't transparent with the other people in the community. They weren't tweeting, they weren't posting stuff on Facebook. I mean, just across the board, it was really a lack of communication. Everyone just saying hello. God, Drone Nut, it's 4 a.m., so I'm off to sleep. Good night, Drone Nut. Any Capri Suns tonight? Joe, no Capri Suns. I drank them all. If you guys aren't familiar with the Capri Sun joke, I drink Capri Suns on me and Ken Dono's live stream, Original Dobo. So yeah, guys, Autel Evo seems to be probably the biggest hitter right now, just because we've seen this drone for 6 months. We first saw it at CES. That's when I first got my hands on it, and now 6 months later, June, it looks like we're going to be getting the drone. You guys can pre-order right now through certain retailers. I know that Ken Dono went through Carolina Drones, and he actually ended up getting one early, and like literally he told me after I posted that rant video, which I don't know, timing works, right? And everyone was like, oh, Billy, you know, 2 days after they released the drone, or 2 days after they announced the release date, you know, I guess your video had some effect, which I doubt my video had any effect. Honestly, I just sat down, I turned on the camera and started talking straight from the heart. I guess that sounds a little bit weird talking about a drone, but like, I was really upset. And I wish we saw this drone a lot earlier, but I've been hearing a lot of different things. That's why it seems to have come out later than expected. So we got about 84 people in here. Pretty good. What's up, 84 people? If you guys want to, go ahead and throw a like on the stream. That definitely will help me out. And all you got to do is just click the like button. Let's see. Chino says, BK, we need to link up not too far from each other. Yeah, so actually, you know what? Chino brings up a good point. I've always thought about doing a meetup somewhere, flying around. I think that'd be pretty cool. But imagine if, like, I say, all right, we're meeting up here, 40 people show up. That's 40 drones. That's going to be a lot of chaos. So we'll have to see what happens. I think that'd be pretty cool. All right, I keep getting off track here. So Autel Evo, I think that the biggest selling point of it is going to be the 4K at 60 FPS. That seems to be what everybody loves about the Phantom 4 Pro. I've made a big deal about it, and I think it's a very big deal because that means the processor inside is very powerful. I mean, some things that this drone lacks, like its design. I think the design is a little bit weird, especially because it's orange. I know some people like the orange just because it helps you see it when it's flying around in the sky. I just think it looks like it was thrown together and they said, yeah, that looks good, and they didn't really care about the design whatsoever. Like if you look at the Mavic is really clean. It's got nice sharp edges, and you can tell that a lot of attention to detail was put into the design of that drone, whereas this, it seems to be kind of just thrown together. It's like a bunch of like weird curves and straight lines. I don't know. I think it looks weird looking personally. But the camera, I think, is the biggest selling point of this drone. From what I've seen and from the hands-on that I got with the drone, I think that the remote looks a little bit weird. It is cool that they added that OLED screen inside of the remote. It's definitely going to come in handy if you forget your screen altogether, because you can actually fly looking straight through there as almost like an FPV view. But also, you're going to be able to see some of your flight statistics like you did with the Mavic Pro. So a big screen like that is always welcome. I think that overall, this drone really does check the marks of a good drone, but I think we're going to see a problem with production, because just like the Mavic Pro, this is a very highly anticipated drone, and I don't think that Autel is going to be able to keep up with their production. And I've been hearing some things, rumors about dealers only getting a certain amount of drones to start off with. So I think that Autel is going to be rolling these pre-orders out very, very slowly, which does suck. But it's something we dealt with the Mavic Pro. But again, across the board, everyone knows the Autel Evo by now. I think the Autel Evo is going to be great. And I figured in this video I had to talk about it. And I guess I had to address the rant video because, of course, as soon as I post that video, they say they're going to come out with the Evo and they give us a hard release date. So the Evo looks great. I don't think I'm going to be purchasing it, but I am going to try to get my hands on one. Wink, wink. So next up, Parrot Anafi. This is the drone that I'm really excited for. And if you guys tuned in to Up in the Air Live with me and Ken Dono, you'll know that I'm like ecstatic about this drone. Like I got real happy when I was talking about it. I was all smiles. And I think the real reason I'm happy about it is because Autel seems, or I'm not, oh god, not Autel, Parrot seems to be doing this release very well. They sent me, okay, so they put up a web page on their website basically saying it's coming. We saw like these 4 little lights lighting up in sequence, and then that was it. That's all the information that we got. Just before the event, it was leaked out. It was the Anafi. I guess probably some people over in France were able to leak it out before us over in the United States got a chance to look at it, which kind of sucks. I was kind of hoping to walk in there and be totally blown away, but I saw a picture of it before the event even started. So I think they're doing it well, this whole entire release. First up, obviously, they kind of tease it, and then they say, okay, here's what we've got. Here's the event. This is what we're going to release, and then they say it's releasing July 1st. Well, you can pre-order it right now, but July 1st is when it's going to start shipping. So across the board, I think they're doing it very well. And what they're promising with the Anafi is like top grade. I think that the stuff they're trying to pack into this drone is going to be incredible. I think the camera is going to be a big player in the Anafi. 20 megapixels, can shoot 4K, although it can only shoot 4K at a maximum frame rate of 30 frames per second, which kind of sucks. And then also, even 1080p, you're not able to shoot all the way up to 120 frames per second. The highest frame rate you're going to be able to shoot at is 60. So I think that's probably its weakest link. Oh, I just saw 100 watching now. 100 concurrent. That was nice. I always want to see those 3 digits. It looks cool. 98, man. That's probably like the most we've ever had. Usually on Sunday nights I get around like 60 people, but tonight we've got almost 100. I might move the stream to Wednesday. Who knows? I haven't been keeping up with the chat, guys. I'm sorry. I'm kind of just sitting down talking about these new drones because we've got 3 of them. I mean, 3 new drones in 1 week. It's basically unheard of. I've been streaming for, about 11 minutes. We already talked about the Evo. We're in the middle of the Anafi right now. Again, guys, I think that this is probably the most anticipated drone, at least for me. I'm really excited to get my hands on it. This is a drone that if they don't send me a review unit for my channel, I'm definitely going to go out and buy it. I think it is totally worth the money. Something that they really preached about was the design of the drone, how easy it is to unfold, and while it sounds like something that they're just trying to throw out there to try to compete with the Mavic Air, I mean, who really cares how long it takes to actually open up the drone? Like, no matter what, you're going to sit there, open it up, wait for it to calibrate. I mean, if you're going to save like 2 seconds, what's the big deal? But it felt really cool being able to pick it up off the table and just like flip out the both legs. It just felt really awesome being able to flip out those legs so quickly, put the drone down, and be up within less than 30 seconds. That's something like really big that they tried to preach at the event. I kind of got off topic. The camera on the Parrot Looks awesome. 20 megapixel camera, again, a 20 megapixel shooter, and also the fact that it can tilt upwards and look straight upwards, kind of go 180 degrees up and down, that's probably its biggest selling point. The gimbal looks awesome. It's very well protected. If you guys have seen any pictures of it, there's like 2 long plastic pieces that go on the right and left side of the camera. So I'm not really afraid of the fragileness, or I guess how delicate the drone is going to be. I know a lot of people seem to say that this drone looks delicate. It's a toy. If you crash it, it's going to totally break. But I don't know if you guys heard my little story I had in my review video, or my first impressions video. While I was at the event, some guy behind me flew one into the window at like 15 miles an hour. It fell to the ground and it was fine. I mean, he picked it up, he unfolded one of the legs back over, put it on the ground, turned it on, and it was flying. So I do think that it's really well made. I've heard about carbon fiber infused legs and body parts, I guess, for the drone. So I really wouldn't go as far as saying that this drone is fragile. Is it more towards the toy level? Yes, it does look sort of like a toy, considering it's kind of between the Mavic Air and the Spark. But you guys have to realize that even though the drone is small, doesn't mean it can't pack a punch. Something that they showed off, a couple of flight modes. First of all, the fact that the camera can zoom in, that's awesome. You have 1.4 times lossless zoom, zooming in 4K. So that means that if you zoom in 1.4 times, which really isn't all that much, but still it's a little bit, you're not going to lose any quality. If you switch over to 1080p, you can zoom in 2.8 times lossless, and in total you can zoom in 3 times. So if you zoom in 3 times, you're going to lose a little bit of quality, but again, 2.8 times, you're losing no quality in 1080p. That is awesome, and that's only something I've seen in the Mavic Pro, and that can only zoom in 2 times with lossless quality. So now with the Anafi, we're going to be able to zoom in 3 times. Sorry, 3 times. So that's awesome. Real quick, I'm going to just peruse here through the chat. What do you use for your video editing software? That's what Smokin' Joe's Pit Barbecue said. Joe, I use Final Cut Pro. The reason I like Final Cut Pro is because you just pay once for it. You don't have to continue to pay like Premiere. You pay once, you get all the updates free. It's on your computer. I think Final Cut Pro is the best if you've got a Mac, at least in my opinion. I know a lot of people seem to favor Premiere. How about the new Yuneec 1-inch sensor, 20 megapixel stills, 4K at 60 frames per second? Casey, I will be getting to that in 1 second. We talked about, if you're just joining us here, we talked about the Evo, the drone that everyone knows. Whether you hate Autel for holding out this long or whether you love them for finally coming out with it, everyone knows about the Evo, so we talked about that. We're right in the middle of the Anafi right now. I'm kind of all over the place just because there's so much to talk about. And then once we're done with the Anafi, we're going to talk about the Yuneec Typhoon, because I don't really know a lot about the Yuneec Typhoon. In fact, I don't know a lot about Yuneec drones in general, but I do want to discuss that. So anyway, we're in the middle of the Parrot Anafi. A lot of the flight modes, as I was saying, look really cool, especially the 3D mapping. It looks like it is spot on. They showed a quick, I guess, a demo of it. They kind of had someone panning across the 3D mapping, or the 3D map made of a house, like really quickly. And from what I could see, it looks like this drone does a really good job at stitching these images together, making it a really high quality rendering to view on your computer. Now, this is something that you can do with the DJI drones, although it's a little bit cumbersome, because first of all, you need to have an iPad, and if you have an iPad, then you need to download a totally separate app, Ground Station Pro, and then Ground Station Pro from there is going to take the photos for you, but then you need to use a different software to actually stitch them together. So it's a little bit cumbersome in terms of the DJI drones, but it looks like it's going to be a lot easier with these new Anafi drones, which is awesome, because this is something I'd love to use. My dad is an architect, builds houses, and he would love something like this, and I would love to try something like it. I think it looks awesome, so that's going to be something really fun to try. I'm trying to think of what else I really like about the Anafi. I mean, the design is great, the camera is great, of course, the fact it can look up, it can look down. It's got some pretty decent speed, about 33 miles per hour it's going to be able to go at its top speed, and then also they were showing at the event the Anafi inside of a wind tunnel. So the wind was flying past the Anafi going 31 miles per hour, and it was able to just sit there and hold still, which is great. Something that might be a deal breaker for some people is that the Anafi doesn't have obstacle avoidance. It has one single obstacle avoidance sensor on the bottom. Now, me personally, I really don't care about that. I never really actually use obstacle avoidance. I've got it turned on just in case, but again, I barely use it, and especially with a drone like this. Okay, so I think for a drone like this, in terms of its price point and in terms of who it's catering towards, like not really the professional pilot, maybe they should have gone with these obstacle avoidance sensors, because obviously they're new to drones. They don't really know maybe how to fly or maybe what they're doing. They don't know the extent of drones, I guess I'm trying to say, and because of this, they might crash it. And the obstacle avoidance sensors definitely help alleviate crashing the drone. But if you're someone who's very experienced with drones, you might actually prefer turning them off. You're going to get faster speeds around objects. You're going to get better precision. Of course, there's always that small marginal or the small room for like error, but again, I think that no obstacle avoidance sensors is going to be a huge deal breaker. On the front of the drone, it doesn't really look like they had anywhere they could even put these sensors unless they somehow tried to like build them into the motors or the legs of the drone. But I think that in terms of obstacle avoidance, I'm fine with them leaving that out. Okay, so something I'm really stoked about is the application. I'm really tired of using the DJI Go app. I feel like I've been looking at the same thing for 2 years. I'd love if they tried to like spice it up somehow. Try to implement some different UI into the application. I think that would make it a little bit more fun to fly instead of looking at this same DJI Go app on my phone all the time. But the application that you use to fly the Parrot Anafi looks awesome. So basically what you have is you have the controller, which by the way, if you open the controller, it turns on automatically. There's no on or off button on the controller, it just turns on when you open it. I think that is a really cool, just a nice, really small touch. So basically, you open up the remote controller, there's no buttons on the front except for the 2 sticks, and they also have like a return to home button and a takeoff button, but once you slide your phone into the small slot, you have everything you need, any of the controls that you need on the bottom of the screen. So when you're flying around, it's easy to reach up with your thumb and select something. You can choose like your frame rate, you can choose your video resolution, you can access all your flight modes, and then all the stuff you don't have to interact with, all the stuff that you like don't touch is along the top. So that's going to show like your battery percentage, your speed, the status of your drone, all of that stuff. And I think the way they laid out the application is really nice because any drone that comes out, we see it trying to copy the DJI Go app and be the same. But I like how Parrot is taking a step back and seeing how they can actually do better rather than just try to copy DJI, who obviously is probably the best in the game right now. Just copy their application because that's what's working. I like how they took a step back and sort of reinvented the wheel. All right, so we talked about the Evo. We talked about the Anafi. I'm definitely excited about the Anafi. I'm really excited. Like, I don't know. After getting a hands-on look, I just really have high hopes for this drone, and I really do think that all these people who are saying, oh, it's just a toy, oh, Parrot can't compete with DJI, Parrot can't compete with Yuneec, all these other companies, I think that Parrot is going to surprise everyone. In fact, my first stream was about how Parrot is the dark horse of the drone industry. A lot of people might know them just because maybe that was their first drone. They make inexpensive drones, they're cheaper, but this is like the most expensive drone, one of the most expensive drones that Parrot has manufactured, and I think that they're going to do pretty well with it. So now we're going to move on to the Yuneec get a Typhoon H drone. I like it much better than the DJI Phantom drone. Okay, so Greg, we're going to get into the Yuneec right now, and guys, I basically know nothing about this drone. I know it was just released, and of course, everyone should probably know who Yuneec is. I'm cheating a little bit here. I'm looking off of my computer down here. I sent them an email. I asked them if they would send one out to me for a review. I figured I'd just try. I'd shoot my shot. I just told him, I was like, I don't care if I get to keep it or not. I just would love to try it out. I think the biggest thing I like about it is the fact that it's a hexacopter. I think that looks badass. Like, the fact that it has 6 propellers on the top just makes it look really cool, and the fact that the legs also fold up, and then from there you can rotate the camera 360 degrees. Now, it's not a 360 camera, but you can rotate it and look basically any way that you want. I mean, that's something that the Inspire level of drones can do, and here Yuneec is basically offering this in a package that is as expensive or maybe a little bit more expensive than the Phantom 4 Pro. In terms of the specs of the camera, they're also going to be basically matching the Phantom 4 Pro with their 1-inch sensor and then being able to shoot 4K at 60 frames per second. Something I seem to be a little bit let down by is their maximum speed. So everything here is on meters per second, but I did some calculations earlier. 13.5 meters per second is just under 30 miles per hour. Like, I would expect this drone to be a lot faster, considering it has more motors and also considering it's just bigger. Like, I would have expected it to be able to go faster than these other drones, but like the Phantom 4 Pro is still the king of speed, it seems, that it can go 45 miles per hour, and that's a big thing. I mean, so I was flying with my Phantom 4 Pro over the weekend, flying around a boat. I was actually flying from the boat, so I had to keep up with the boat, and I was basically flying in sport mode all day just so I could keep up with the boat along the side, behind it, on top of it, anything like that. Sport mode is very, very, very helpful, and just being able to only go 29 miles per hour, kind of sucks. Typhoon H is basically just a camera update to the original model. Yeah, Ron, I definitely have to agree with you there. I feel like this body has been used amongst all of the Typhoons, which kind of sucks. But I mean, I guess it's got to be working for them. The only thing that really sucks is that at least with the Phantom, you have like a certain level of portability. It still is a pretty small form factor. I've got a backpack that I use, and although I did break my drone from that backpack by falling on the backpack, it still does offer a pretty good amount of protection, and of course, it makes it a lot more portable, so you're able to actually carry it around with you. But the Yuneec just seems really big, really bulky. That's probably the only thing that it has not going for it. But other than that, I think that it looks like a great drone all around. I know that I've been one to bash Yuneec a lot just because, again, they don't really introduce all that much new stuff. Like, the Yuneec Typhoon has been basically the same design all these years. And you might say, like, okay, the DJI Phantom is the same design too. Well, that's just because it works. And okay, all right, I feel like I'm eating my words here because the Typhoon design does work too. They obviously have a great design here with the hexacopter in case one of the motors fails, you can still fly. I mean, that's a great feature and all, but like at least DJI is also introducing other drones like the Mavic, so they basically have something that caters to every single person on the market, whereas they just keep coming out with new Typhoons, I swear. But again, I'd love to try it out. I mean, if Yuneec sends me one, that would be cool. I don't want to make this like a whole thing about how I just want to get free drones, but I would love to be able to test it out. So hopefully maybe they're watching or something. Let's see. I'm looking at also the battery life. It seems to be a 5,250 milliamp hour battery. Gives you 28 minutes of flight time, which seems to be like the standard. So with the Phantom 4 Pro, we get 30 minutes of flight time. With the Mavic Pro Platinum, we get 30 minutes of flight time. With the original Mavic Pro, we get 27 minutes of flight time. But I've never seen a drone cross the 30-minute flight time threshold, or at least one of these like consumer level drones. I've never seen it cross the 30-minute threshold. Even something like the Inspire 2. The Inspire 2 is only able to fly for 27 minutes, and that probably depends on what payload you have underneath, which I would expect even more flight time out of that drone, but I guess because of all the power it's sucking, it makes sense. You guys are probably flaming me right now. Because I know nothing about Typhoon. Ron is really taking a big dump on Typhoon. First, he said that it's basically the same camera. He says that it has a range of a mile. What else did he say? No reason to get the Typhoon over the Phantom 4 Pro version 2.0. Yeah, I agree. I agree with Ron. I think that the Typhoon is nothing that the Phantom can't do. And something that really does bother me is the range. So it says transmission distance range, optimum conditions, 1.6 kilometers. So, what is 1.6 kilometers in miles? Oh, she's not going to speak. 0.99 miles. That's terrible. Because that's the thing. It's like that is with optimum. They say optimum conditions. So that means that you're probably not even going to get a mile, because they say with stuff like Lightbridge and also OcuSync, you're going to get a range of about 4 miles, 4.3-ish miles or 7 kilometers. That's going to be the maximum you can go. And I find that when I go out 2 miles, then it starts to lose connection. In fact, guys, I got a really scary story to tell you. I'll tell you in a second. But yeah, the range on this thing is pitiful. That sucks. This drone would be really cool if it could actually go a lot further. Okay, so the story that I want to tell you guys, you know what? I might actually end the stream with this story. Guys, I know this has pretty much been like a really lame stream. Ron, it is all true. Bottle Caps, what's up? Yeah, so, man, this thing's pretty weak. In terms of just everything. Their camera is the only thing that's good. I mean, it says it's got a 1-inch CMOS sensor, 20 megapixels. The camera lens, okay, so here's another thing, is the camera lens is a locked f.28 aperture, but with the Phantom 4 Pro, you get an adjustable aperture, which that comes in handy. I mean, especially if you don't have ND filters, you can at least try to tune that exposure, the exposure value with the adjustable aperture. So, yeah, guys, I would definitely recommend just going with the Phantom 4 Pro 2.0 or the Phantom 4 Pro. It even says the video format is MP4. It doesn't even say .mov. So MOV works better with Mac. If you've got a Mac, you're pretty much screwed. I just think that Yuneec always they always try to hype up their drones, and they fail to impress me across the board. So, you know, I actually came into the stream thinking Yuneec was going to be really badass, but now I'm kind of let down. All right, so the story that I wanted to tell you guys, I was on Block Island. I was sitting there on the edge of Block Island, and if you looked out, there was all of these wind turbines, and I was like, I want to get close to those wind turbines. And I was flying all over water, so I was going to have a lot of room to just pretty much take a beeline out for the turbines. There was 4 of them. I don't know if I already said that. So I got there, set up the drone, had 100% battery, and I basically put it in sport mode, took up, and just started going out. And it probably took me about like 5 minutes to get out there. It was about 11,000 feet, and as soon as I got to 11,000 feet, boom. Aircraft disconnected. Totally, I mean, literally, absolutely no signal coming back to me. Aircraft disconnected in the top left corner of the DJI Go app, and I was scared. And then I said, all right, it's going to come back home. I had my return home altitude set at 400 feet, so therefore the Phantom was going to have to go up to 400 feet, spin around, and come back to me. So I was being patient. I sat there for about 2 minutes, and I was like, all right, well, like, the drone should definitely be reconnecting by now. And I let it go a little bit further, and finally I was like, I lost this thing. And I pretty much was like about ready to pack up my drone, not even the drone, pack up the remote, pack up the case, the droneless case with no drone in it, and basically just carry it around with me. But what I did is I ended up unplugging the cord, the lightning cord from my phone, replugging it back in, and boom, it established automatically. So I think that the main reason that I actually was disconnected was not the range, but because my phone, I think that the lightning port is a little bit messed up, just because anytime I go to plug my phone in, it like charges, then stops charging, keeps vibrating, and I have to like take it out, blow inside of the charging port, replug it back in, and then from there it works. So yeah, that was a pretty scary experience. I got the drone back, and then I tried it again, and I got out to about 12,000 feet, and I was like this close away from getting like a really cool shot of the wind turbines, and then I started losing signal. It was choppy. My 2.4 gigahertz frequency went all the way down to one red blinking bar. I turned right around and came back. I wasn't even risking it. But guys, like that day when I was flying, I flew like 20.2 miles with my drone. That's crazy. I've never flown that much in a single day. I used up about probably 8 charges. I had 3 batteries on constant charge, so 8 charges, 8 batteries, I guess. All right, so it looks like we've been streaming for just under 30 minutes. I'm glad that all of you guys stopped by. It looks like we probably hit the most concurrent streamers that we ever have on a stream, which is awesome. There are so many new drones. I just realized that my framing on this entire live stream was really terrible. Guys, I literally threw this live stream together. But again, I don't know. That's kind of what I want these live streams to be. Just sitting back, relaxing, talking with you guys about drone stuff. So this is a pretty big time for drones. I guess I'll actually end off with this. We see the Autel Evo. We see the Parrot Anafi. We see the Yuneec Typhoon H Plus. And now we're just waiting on DJI. And Ken basically kind of said it best. He always has the greatest things to say, I swear to God. That DJI is holding the cards, and when they put it down, it's just going to be a royal flush. I've got no idea what they're working up on in their laboratory. They've had about 2 years where their drones have been best-selling drones. I mean, the Mavic Pro and the Phantom 4 Pro are still the best-selling drones, and they came out 2 years ago, or at least a little bit under 2 years ago. And again, they're still the kings of the market. So DJI has had all this time to just plan on what they're going to release next. The Mavic Air did come out probably about 4, 5, 6 months ago, so we do have that to play around with, but now I'm just jonesing for a new DJI drone, and I don't even know what they're going to come out with next. All I know is that it's probably going to have to do with like a Mavic, maybe, Mavic Pro. I think that they kind of have to update that series just because it's their best-selling series. 2 years out, there's probably a lot of people who like bought the Mavic Pro when it first came out, and they're like, all right, yeah, I'd probably upgrade now. But you see, that's the thing, is like, if they were to come out with the Mavic Pro 2 1 year after they released the Mavic Pro, people are still flying their drones for a year. I mean, a year after, you just buy a drone, you're like, oh, why do I need this upgraded version? It's kind of the same thing with the Phantom 4 Pro. A lot of people didn't want to upgrade from their Phantom 4 Standard to the Professional, although I think it's a pretty incremental upgrade. But a year is not really all that long to upgrade a drone. I mean, if it's a phone, different story. I upgrade my phone every single year. But in terms of drones, I think a 2-year cycle is perfect. So if we see a Mavic Pro anytime soon, I'm definitely going to be a happy camper. All right, so I think the DJI is probably going to come out with a new drone anytime soon. That's going to be 4 freaking drones in like the span of 1 season in the summertime, which is awesome. Anafi was a lot of fun to get my hands on. Yuneec, send me the Typhoon H if you can. I'd love to try it out. If any, you know what? Honestly, really quickly, guys, I want to end this stream off with this. If you guys own a Yuneec, or if you've ever flown a Yuneec, let me know what you think of it in the chat. I would love to know what you guys have to say. Pete says new by name, not by features. Christine, can you link the Mavic Pro remote to the Phantom 4 Pro 2.0? That is a good question. I'm going to have to say no on that one, Christine, but it is a good question. You do raise a good question. Again, guys, please leave me a little chat over here letting me know what you think of your Yuneec, if you have a Yuneec, because I feel like they're like one of those big names, but they just never deliver, especially after I'm reading this whole spec sheet here for the Typhoon H Plus. It just seems like a real letdown. And the fact that it doesn't have an adjustable aperture just sucks. I mean, adjustable aperture is like big on a drone, in my opinion at least. I use it all the time on my G7 too whenever I'm filming. Bottle Cap says, what the hell is Yuneec? 51 Drone says he has the Breeze. It's okay. Yeah, the Breeze was probably like their best-selling drone, honestly. That came out before the Spark. I mean, a while before the Spark. And that was probably a lot of people's like starter drone. It was pretty inexpensive, pretty good. I mean, Yuneec doesn't make bad products, but when you're trying to compare them to DJI, it's just like, what? Like, there's no comparison. Ron Brown, if you get the Typhoon, Billy, let me know. I will come over and film you flying. All right, Ron, I'll take you up on that offer. Yeah, Christine, so I know it is OcuSync. I'm not sure if they can link up, though. It might be able to. I've got no idea. Milton says that he has the Breeze, and it sucks. I upgrade my phones and drones every 2 years. Yeah, I agree. Upgrades are different. So I guess my upgrade for my phone every year, computer, only whenever I feel like it's a good time to upgrade. I guess it kind of depends. I upgraded after 5 years of having a MacBook Pro to this new 15-inch MacBook Pro. I've been using this Apple Watch. This is the Series 0. That's what they're calling it. This is like the very first Apple Watch to come out, and it dies pretty quickly on me, but you know, it gets the job done, and I don't feel like I need to go and upgrade this every year. But a phone is different. I use my phone every year. They seem to always come out with like cool new features on every new phone, so that's the only thing I upgrade yearly at this point. All right, guys. Eric, I love the AirPods. Yeah, the AirPods are a great touch. If you guys don't have AirPods, they're awesome. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed the stream. Definitely, if you guys are watching this after the fact, if you stuck around to this point, awesome. I thank you. I always wonder that. I'm like, all right, if I stream, how many people actually watch the full stream after it's been streamed? So if you guys are here and you're watching it after the fact, you're awesome. Anyway, guys, thank you everyone for tuning in. 108 concurrent viewers right now. That is just awesome. 44 likes it looks like, and although it probably didn't catch up yet. But guys, thank you for tuning in. I'm probably going to take a leave of absence again this weekend, but I hope to be on a very regular upload schedule starting next week. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed the stream. And as always, I'll talk to you later. Peace.